Welcome. Wrestlers who owe their career to Mark Henry. 1. Braun Strowman was scouted by Mark Henry. Mark Henry isn't the only strong man to successfully transition into a top WWE superstar. Braun Strowman is a former world champion, and at one point he looked like a dead cert for the next truly great Hall of Fame worthy big man in WWE. Although he's cooled down a little bit since his height a few years ago, Strowman is still a considerable force in the company. But it apparently takes a former strong man to notice another. The monster among men and former Wyatt family stable member revealed that it was Mark Henry who helped him transition from strongman events to the world of professional wrestling during an interview with Busted Open Radio. Truth be told, I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for Mark Henry. I traveled around the world doing strongman competition. That's the first time I met Mark, back in 2010 when I competed as an amateur. I introduced myself and said I've always been a fan of his in WWE and what he's done in the strength sports world. Strowman said. Strowman has certainly had his ups and downs in WWE as far as title success, but there's no denying he's had more than his fair share of memorable moments. From tipping over a truck, surviving being compacted in a trash compactor and smashing people through barricades like it's nothing, not to mention the iconic train noises, there are dozens of exciting examples of the former Universal Champion showing off his incredible strength. None of that would have happened without Mark Henry, as Strowman goes on to reiterate. 2. Baron Corbin was helped massively by Mark Henry. Another big man that Mark Henry helped in their transition to WWE was Baron Corbin. The former US champion has certainly been one of the most divisive superstars in WWE over the last few years, with some people hating him and finding him boring and others appreciating how committed he is to his heel characters, particularly King Corbin and his memorable stint as the Monday Night Raw general manager. But Baron Corbin is another WWE superstar who credits Mark Henry with being a pivotal influence in helping him develop as a wrestler, harkening all the way back to when Corbin started with the company at Florida Championship Wrestling, WWE's developmental territory prior to NXT. He came in and thought I had something special, Corbin said speaking to WWE.com. He told me I had a good look, the way I moved was good. He really helped mold me in those early days, which helped the evolution of who I am and what I do. When you have a guy of his caliber come to you and tell you they see something in you, if that doesn't light a fire, nothing will. As you can see, Henry's talents in, well, talent development don't just revolve around scouting, but also helping wrestlers once they've been signed, and that's certainly something that he did for Mark Henry here. 3. Apollo Crews was brought to WWE by Whale and Mark Henry. Even the Intercontinental Champion made it to WWE thanks to Mark Henry. Apollo Crews may have had a rocky first few years in WWE, but he's really come into his own thanks to an excellent feud with MVP and Bobby Lashley on Monday Night Raw and the embracing of a new Nigerian-centered gimmick on SmackDown Live, both of which saw him become a champion in WWE. But until those recent successes, all we've been able to talk about is Crews' clear and obvious potential as a big star in wrestling. So it's certainly no surprise that the person responsible for bringing such a talented individual to WWE was Mark Henry. Crews told the story of how Mark Henry, and also rapper Whale, were responsible for bringing him to WWE during an interview on WWE spin-off show The Bump. You know, it's funny cause actually Whale messaged me on Twitter about 2013 or something like that. He's a huge fan of wrestling, he said. He was like, I just got hip to all your work. I love it. How can we get you in the WWE? At the time, I was just traveling around in England and Japan, just enjoying what I was doing. I was enjoying life, I wasn't working a real job, just living off wrestling. It was pretty cool for me to be able to do that at that level. He gets in contact with Mark Henry, who sees my work, and he gets me a tryout. A couple of weeks later I get an email from Canyon Semin saying they want to bring me down to Orlando for a tryout, and I was like, there's no way this is real. Hopefully from these examples it's clear that Mark Henry has a hell of an eye for a wrestler and that his AEW signing means so much more than just another WWE Hall of Famer jumping ship. It means that the likes of Strowman, Corbin, and Apollo will be joining AEW instead of WWE in the future. Thank you for watching, but please don't forget to subscribe.